Stop. Do not scroll away from me right now. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your spirit to this exact place. You did not stumble across this message by accident today. I guided your hand to open this video immediately, because your long season of waiting is finally over. The confirmation you have been begging me for is here. Now that you are here, let me speak softly to the part of your heart that is most tired. Give me a few minutes of your undivided attention. I promise you will not regret staying until the very end. The enemy wanted you to rush past this moment because he knows what is coming. But I stepped in to interrupt the noise of the world for you. I know how heavy your soul feels in this moment. You have been walking through a long wilderness. You smile for other people every day. You pretend to be strong when they look at you, but inside your room, the silence is breaking your spirit. I see how tired you are. Your exhaustion has gone deeper than physical sleep. You feel a quiet restlessness inside your chest right now. That tight knot behind your heart never seems to lift. You run through every decision and every prayer when the house goes dark. You look at the ceiling at 3 in the morning. Your thoughts race with endless questions that have no answers. I watched you cry silently into your pillow when you thought nobody could hear. You pressed your face into the fabric so the noise of your sorrow would be swallowed. You did not want your family to worry about you. You did not want your friends to see your weakness. You have been the pillar for everyone else around you. But who holds you when your own foundation begins to shake? You have given your sincere love into hands that did not know how to hold it. You have poured your heart out until you were entirely empty. Now you sit in the quietness and you ask me why your kindness is met with constant disappointment. You wonder if your pure heart is a curse. Let me tell you that your pure heart is the greatest masterpiece I ever formed. I saw you when you sat on the edge of your bed last night. You were too exhausted to even form words for a prayer. You simply sat there with tears rolling down your face. Your spirit was screaming for a single sign of relief. I counted every single tear that fell from your eyes. Not one drop of your sorrow was wasted in my house. You have been fighting these invisible battles completely in secret. Nobody knows the true depth of the war inside your mind. The enemy tells you that nothing will ever change for you. He whispers that you are destined to fail. But the enemy is a liar, and his authority over your mind ends today. I place this message directly in your path to deliver your soul from that darkness. Hear me with the deepest place of your heart. The silence you mistook for abandonment was actually my holy protection. I was shielding you from rooms you were not ready to enter. You have looked at your life and you felt like you arrived late to your own destiny. You watched other people receive their blessings while your hands remained empty. You wondered if I forgot your name. You questioned your own worth. But you are not behind. You are standing right on the threshold of a massive breakthrough. Comment Amen if you feel me speaking to your spirit right now. Do not let distractions steal this holy alignment from you. This is the exact moment where your reality begins to shift. Breathe deeply and let your shoulders relax. Let your mind stop racing after the worries of tomorrow. I am already working ahead of your steps. I know you are the one who has tried everything to find peace. You have prayed through the long years. You have fasted, and you have studied my words. You even tried to help me fix your life in your own way. You engineered plans because the waiting felt too heavy to bear. But every door you forced open only brought you more pain. I closed those doors because I love you too much to let you settle. I cut away the relationships that were secretly draining your destiny. You felt rejected when those people walked away from you. You felt broken when the plans you loved crumbled into dust. But it was my hand that did the pruning. I removed the old foundation to build something eternal. You are my chosen child, and your life carries an immense purpose. The very attacks you are facing are the proof of your true identity. The adversary does not fight things that are dead. He targets you because your light is rising in the unseen realm. He is terrified of the version of you that is about to step forward. Let us establish a holy covenant between your heart and mine today. Look back at the storms you have already survived. You thought you were breaking, but you were actually being reshaped. You thought you were buried under the soil, but you were actually being planted. Every season of isolation was a holy preparation for this hour. I see how hard you try to hold everything together by yourself. You wake up with an unexpected weight sitting on your chest. You carry the burdens of your family on your back. You listen to their problems, and you provide solutions for them. Yet when you need a refuge, the world feels completely vacant around you. I am your safe refuge, and I am here to take that heavy bag from you. You do not have to pretend to be strong anymore when you are with me. It is safe to lay your weakness down at my feet. I am not looking for your perfect performance. I am looking for your willing spirit. Your trembling obedience is more precious to me than gold. Listen to the rhythm of my voice in the quietness of your soul. The pressure of the world has made your spirit feel small. You have allowed the opinions of people to redefine your worth. They labeled you by your past mistakes. They judged you by the seasons when you struggled, but their labels are not my final verdict over your life. I call you a conqueror and a cycle breaker for your family. The generational patterns of limitation and lack are stopping with you. You were selected to walk out of the pattern that bound those who came before you. This is why your path has felt so much heavier than everyone else around you. You are carrying a different weight. You are paving a road that your children and their children will walk on. Do not allow the temporary fatigue of the journey to make you turn back now. Heaven has authorized a massive supply of strength for your spirit today. The waiting room is closing its doors because the season of fulfillment has officially arrived. Can you give me just a few more minutes of your time? Stay with me until the end, because the revelation I am releasing will anchor your faith forever. Something just shifted in the atmosphere of your life while you were listening to these words. The unseen chains that held your finances and your peace are beginning to tremble. I saw you when you walked through the grocery store counting your pennies. I saw the anxiety that gripped your mind when the bills arrived in the mail. You wondered if the promise of provision was just a beautiful illusion. You asked me if you were destined to always struggle just to survive. But I did not create you for survival alone. I created you to overflow with the abundance of my house. Every delay was an intentional training ground to expand your capacity. If I gave you the harvest before your character was ready, the blessing would have destroyed you. I had to build a deep root system inside your soul through the silent months of winter. Now the spring is breaking through the frozen ground of your life. The confirmation you are receiving today is a holy signature that your prayers have been granted. Do not let the memory of past disappointments tell you that this is too good to be true. The enemy wants you to stay cynical, so you do not receive the gift. Raise your head and look at the horizon of your future. I am clearing away the static that blocked your spiritual vision. You will begin to see the solutions clearly before they even manifest in the physical world. Your intuition is being restored to its sharpest state. My voice will become the clearest sound in your daily life. Come closer to my presence, my beloved child. Let me speak softly to the part of you that is most tired. I know the absolute depth of the isolation you feel when the world fades away. You walk through your days surrounded by many loud voices, but inside your soul, you feel entirely alone. And even when you are standing in a crowded room with people laughing around you, you quietly feel as though you are a million miles away from everyone else. I see the secret exhaustion that settles deeply into your physical body every single day. Your eyelids feel heavy when the sun begins to set. Your limbs carry a strange stiffness that you cannot explain to the doctors. You have tried to rest your weary head. You have tried to take long breaks. But this particular tiredness goes far past the need for physical sleep. You have spent your whole life holding up the sky for everyone else, and now your own spirit is quietly begging for a safe place to drop the heavy pieces. I know you are a pure-hearted giver. You fill the gaps for the people you love. You absorb their anxiety, and you listen to their complaints. You make their difficult journeys so much easier for them, but you come home with entirely empty hands at the end of the day. You sit in your vehicle, and you look at your steering wheel. You feel a profound vacancy in your chest, because nobody ever stops to ask how your soul is doing while you bleed out your own life to keep them alive. You have watched untrustworthy people take your sincere kindness and use it against you. They smiled when they needed your resources. They called your name when the lives were falling into chaos. But when the storm cleared from their skies, they walked away without saying thank you. They left you behind in the mud. You have asked me why your love is constantly met with cold rejection. You wonder if it is safer to close the doors of your heart forever, because the pain of being used by those you trusted has become too sharp to tolerate anymore. Let me whisper the truth to your wounded spirit. I saw you in the bathroom when you turned on the faucet. You thought the sound of the running water would cover the noise of your desperate crying. You folded your physical body into the smallest possible shape on the cold floor. You pressed your face into a soft towel so your children would not hear your breaking heart, and you quietly wondered if my eyes were closed to the deep agony that was crushing your chest. You felt completely abandoned by heaven and earth in that dark hour. Do you feel that specific heaviness behind your sternum right now? That particular weight never quite lifts from your chest. You can sleep for 12 hours and you still wake up with a tight knot in your lungs. You have tried to think positive thoughts. You have tried to push the darkness away with your own human willpower. But the accumulation of hidden trauma has found a permanent home inside your physical frame, and your mind is constantly spinning with an exhausting static that you cannot silence. You have looked at your bank account and you felt a cold panic creep up your neck. You have looked at your broken relationships and you felt an overwhelming sense of failure. You believe that you have disappointed me because your faith has grown so quiet lately. You feel guilty when you cannot find the energy to praise my name. You think that your weakness has disqualified you from the promises I spoke over your childhood. You sit in the dark and you compare your slow progress to the quick victories of everyone around you, because the enemy has convinced your mind that you are completely forgotten by the creator of the stars. You feel like an absolute outcast in your own life story. But hear my soft whisper in this quiet room. I am not looking at you with judgment or anger. I did not design your physical vessel to carry the weight of an entire world alone. Your tears are not a sign of a broken faith. Your weariness is not a proof of your spiritual failure. I see your broken heart as a sacred garden that is ready for a holy visitation. I stood in the darkness of that quiet room while you trembled on the floor, and my hands were already catching every drop of your sorrow before it could even touch the ground. I never turned my face away from your deep agony. You have believed the massive lie that my silence meant my absence. When the doors slammed shut in your face, you thought I was punishing you for your hidden mistakes. When the people you loved turned into your enemies, you thought I was stripping your joy away, but I was actually removing the toxic hands that would have ruined your destiny. Every single loss was a precise arrangement of my divine protection. I was cutting away the hidden nets of the enemy before your feet could step into a fatal trap. Breathe deeply right now, my beloved child. Let the muscles in your face relax. You do not have to fight the battles of tomorrow with the empty strength of today. You have been running on a baseline of pure survival for far too long. Your soul has forgotten what true safety feels like. I am stepping into your atmosphere to establish an immovable perimeter of peace around your mind, because the heavy storms of your past have no legal right to enter this new season. You are safe here with me. I want to validate the secret wounds that nobody else can see. I saw when your close friends left you out of their gatherings. I saw when your family members gossiped about your financial struggles behind your back. They used your vulnerability as ammunition to feed their own pride. They made you feel like you were the problem. But I have recorded every single word they spoke against your innocence. I am turning their cruel mockery into the exact raw material for your public vindication. They judged you during the winter of your preparation without understanding that your root system was quietly expanding beneath the frozen soil to hold the massive wealth of your coming spring. Comment, I am not alone. If you can feel my presence filling your room right now. This is an active ceremony of agreement between your spirit and my heart. Do not allow the enemy to whisper that this is just an ordinary video on a screen, because I guided your hand to click these words at the exact minute your soul needed my reassurance. I am answering the exact question you whispered into the darkness of your kitchen last night. I am confirming that your prayers have crossed the courts of heaven. Your answer is secured. You have fought like a weary warrior for so many months. You have carried the financial burdens and the emotional scars without letting anyone see your pain. You have done everything right. You kept your integrity when others cheated. You chose honesty when others lied. yet you still feel completely locked out of the provision you were promised. You look at your life and you feel like the receiver of your spirit is filled with a constant static that blocks my blessings from landing in your hands. Because I see your weariness, I have aligned a specific provision for your path. My child, I need you to hear this. The silence you have experienced is not my absence. The enemy has been filling the space between us with noise, a static so constant that my voice was hidden from you even when it was on your path. I have not abandoned you. I have been preparing, and I have guided someone to bring you an instrument of restoration. I will show you exactly what it is before this message ends. But first, you need to understand what was done to block it, and why it can be undone. Let us look together at a holy mystery that I recorded in my book long ago. There was a woman named Hannah who walked through a bitter season of waiting just like you. She carried a deep sorrow inside her physical body because her womb was empty. Every year she went to my house to pour out her broken spirit. She watched other women around her rejoice with their children, while her own hands remained entirely empty. Her pain was completely silent. She had no words left. Her spirit was entirely heavy, and when the priest looked at her moving lips without hearing any sound from her mouth, he falsely assumed that she was completely lost in her own darkness. She did not know that her quiet whispers were shaking the very foundations of the unseen realm. The religious leader judged her from the outside without understanding the holy war inside her soul. My beloved child, your silent prayers are identical to the whispers of Hannah. The prayers you offer when nobody else is around are the most precious sounds in my house. You whisper your broken hopes when you are too tired to speak out loud. You think those fragments of words vanish into the cold air of your room. But I tell you that I am counting every single broken word right now. Not one syllable has been dropped or forgotten by your Creator. I want to open your eyes to a profound mechanism that has been operating in your life. I have heard the heavy prayer that you recently stopped praying out loud because you were too tired of waiting for the answer. I have watched you sit quietly in the darkness of your home while you watched other people receive the exact breakthroughs you begged me for. You smiled for them, but you quietly wondered if I had forgotten your specific name. You have allowed your weary mind to create a dangerous explanation for this long delay. You started to believe that my silence meant my total rejection of your life. You told yourself that you were not faithful enough or worthy enough to receive a miracle. You believed that some hidden mistake from your past has permanently blocked my hand. My beloved child, that belief is a total lie, and I am exposing that thief right now. Hear my prophetic declaration over your thoughts right now because you need to understand the true mechanism of the unseen realm. There is a massive difference between a delay that comes from my hand and a delay that comes from the enemy. My delay always carries a deep sense of absolute peace, even in the middle of the waiting. But the enemy tries to inject confusion and shame into your quiet moments. I call this mechanism the stolen meaning. The enemy is an absolute expert at whispering a false meaning into my holy silence. When I choose to remain quiet for your protection, the adversary tells you that I am ignoring your cry. He takes my peaceful pause and he paints it as a sign of my anger. He wants you to believe that the silence means I have walked away from your story. But the truth is that I am working in the rooms you cannot see on a timeline you cannot measure. Let us rewrite the history of your long suffering through the lens of my truth today. The silence you took as my total absence was actually the sound of my hands rearranging your future. The years you called wasted were not wasted at all. The closed doors were not a punishment for your past sins, but they were my absolute protection from a dangerous path. I delayed your footsteps so you would not walk into a yes that would break your soul. So tonight, when the heavy silence comes back to your room, do not fight it with your own empty words. Stop asking me why the answer is delayed. Start asking me what my hand is actively protecting in your life. Place your right hand over your beating heart and repeat this truth out loud. My spirit is sensing a holy protection that my physical eyes cannot see yet. And then, rest your weary head in my perfect timing. You have looked at the broken pieces of your financial path, and you assumed that you were failing. You saw the locked doors, and you believed that the adversary was winning the war over your house. But I am revealing the hidden blueprints of your preparation season today. I had to prune the attachments that would have choked your coming abundance. I had to let certain people walk away from you because their hands were too weak to carry the heavy glory that I am placing on your shoulders. They called you an outcast when you chose to walk away from their compromised tables. They thought that you were losing your mind when you refused to repeat the toxic habits of your family. But you were not losing your mind. You were simply receiving the quiet instructions of my spirit in the wilderness. I call this period the silent forging. It is the necessary process where the raw iron of your character is transformed into a holy weapon that the enemy cannot break. Your family has lived under a ceiling of constant limitation for many generations. They accepted the burden of lack as their permanent identity. They believed that comfort and true peace belonged to someone else. And then you were born into that lineage with a different light inside your eyes. You did not fit into their narrow boxes. You felt a strange restlessness that they could not understand. You were selected to be the breaker of that heavy chain. This is precisely why your battles have been 3 times harder than the struggles of the people around you. You are not just fighting for your own small life. You are tearing down the ancient fortresses that have held your entire lineage in captivity for decades. The adversary targeted your mind from the very beginning because he saw the breaker anointing inside your spirit. He wanted to crush your confidence before you could realize the immense power of your true identity. But his strategy has failed completely because you are still standing here today. You are still listening to my voice after all the storms that tried to drown your hope. Your faith may feel small, like a tiny mustard seed right now. You may feel like you have nothing left to offer me except your broken fragments. But a mustard seed in my hands is more than enough to move the tallest mountains of your life. I am multiplying your empty strength right now. Let the static of the world clear away from your spiritual ears in this moment. You have spent too many months listening to the negative reports of your physical senses. You look at the unpaid bills, and you feel the weight of panic. You look at the lonely rooms, and you feel the sting of isolation. But my words carry a higher reality than the facts of your temporary circumstances. The facts say that you are stuck, but my truth declares that you are being positioned. I want you to understand the divine architecture of a holy delay. When a builder wants to construct a massive tower, he must first dig a very deep hole in the dirt. The higher the building is meant to rise, the deeper the foundation must go. The world only sees the dirt and the mess during the excavation season. They laugh, and they think that the project has been abandoned. But the builder is actually anchoring the structure so it can withstand the heavy winds of the future. You are that massive tower, and your life is being anchored by my own hands. The deep valleys you walk through were the necessary excavation of your soul. I had to remove the loose sand of human pride and reliance on worldly validation. I had to dig past the old hurts until we reached the solid rock of your true identity in me. The excavation was painful, and it felt like you were going backward into the dark. But it was the only way to ensure your ultimate safety. Now the foundation is completely set, and the building phase is beginning. The confirmation you have been praying for is the first stone that I am laying down in the light. Do not look back at the dirt of your past, and allow the memory of the whole to diminish your current expectation. The enemy wants you to remain focused on the excavation so you miss the beauty of the rising structure. Raise your eyes to my face and expect great things today. I am releasing a swift wave of divine clarity into your decision-making process. The heavy fog that made you hesitate over every step is dissolving at my command. You will no longer wander through your days with a sense of constant uncertainty. You will begin to notice the sharp nudges of my spirit guiding your thoughts. When you turn to the left or to the right, your inner ears will hear a clear word telling you the exact path to walk on. This restored intuition is a holy tool to help you navigate the wealth of your new season. I am not just giving you a temporary relief from your current problems. I am completely transforming the way your mind interacts with my provisions. You will recognize the opportunities that I have placed along your road instead of walking past them in fear. The static of the adversary will no longer have the power to blind your spiritual sight. Let us drop the heavy bags of regret that you have been dragging behind you. You have wasted too much energy wondering what would have happened if you made different choices. You blame yourself for the years you stayed in toxic environments. You think that your own mistakes have delayed the arrival of my promises. But I am the master of time, and I can restore the years that the locusts have eaten from your life. No mistake can cancel my ultimate design. Your timeline is completely safe in my hands, because I operate outside of human years. I can accelerate a harvest in a single day that would normally take a decade to mature. I can open a locked door in 1 second that you have been pounding on for 20 years. Do not measure the speed of your future by the slow rhythm of your past. A sudden shift is approaching your house, and it will catch the mockers completely by surprise. They will look at the transformation of your life, and they will wonder how it happened so quickly. They saw you when you were sitting in the dust of your rejection. They remembered the seasons when you were struggling just to survive. They will be forced to acknowledge that your elevation was not the result of human luck or worldly manipulation. They will see the undeniable signature of my grace written across your entire house. Comment delay is protection if you are ready to let go of your old explanations today. This is the moment where you officially hand the script of your life back to the author of your destiny. You are stripping the enemy of his power to make you feel ashamed of your waiting room. You are declaring that every pause was a holy investment in your ultimate victory. You are stepping out of the role of a victim and into the place of supreme stewardship. Breathe in my peace right now, and let the remaining tension leave your physical frame. Your heart has been beating at the rhythm of a constant emergency for a very long time. You have been waiting for the next bad report to land on your desk. You have been waiting for the next person to betray your trust. But I am declaring a holy ceasefire over your mind today. The war is over, and your sanctuary is completely restored. Let us look back at the biblical parallel of Hannah one more time before we move forward. After she poured out her broken soul in my house, she did not walk away with a sad countenance anymore. She did not have the child in her arms yet. She did not see the physical proof of her answer, but she had received my word in her spirit, and that was enough to shift her reality. She ate her food, and her face was no longer sorrowful. I am asking you to carry that same absolute confidence today. You may not see the massive bank deposit yet. You may not feel the physical healing in your body this very second, but the confirmation has been released from my throne, and it is already traveling toward your physical world. Walk with your head lifted high like a child of the King. Your waiting season is officially dismissed, and your harvest is beginning right now. Hear me now with absolute certainty, because the season of your containment is collapsing. I am stretching out my hand over your geography to pull you out of the shadows. The unseen realm is shaking with my heavy decree. The delays that simulated abandonment are transforming into an undeniable momentum. You are crossing a threshold that human hands cannot block. I am stripping away the false armor that you wore to survive the battles of yesterday. You have spent too many years defending your heart from the arrows of gossip and lack. Your mind became a crowded citadel of survival strategies. But I did not call you to live inside a fortress of constant defense. I am breaking the siege of the adversary over your home. Look at the horizon of your life, because something massive is breaking open right now. I have already authorized the movement of heavenly provisions toward your specific coordination. Do not allow the memory of past blockages to limit your current capacity to receive. The door that was tightly sealed is trembling at my sovereign voice. Comment, the door is open, if you can feel the heavy static breaking away from your thoughts. This is your moment of absolute reception. Anchor your agreement in the comment section below as a holy testimony. Your obedience is opening the channels that the enemy tried to bury with his loud lies. You are standing in the stream of my grace. Look closely at the design of your mind. I placed a sacred frequency at its absolute center from the beginning. Wise minds who spend decades studying the brain have finally found it. They call it the gamma wave. It ran freely inside your spirit when you were a little child. It required no heavy effort or rigid discipline. Children learn very quickly. They trust my presence purely. When I told you to become like little children, I was not speaking only of your spiritual posture. I was revealing the hidden design of the physical brain. I carefully constructed that signal of pure divine receptivity. It was meant to connect your thoughts directly to my throne. The enemy used modern pressure to bury that signal. He wanted your mind to hum at the frequency of fear. But I prepared wise minds to work with sound the way I designed it. They built a frequency tool that clears the interference from your thoughts. It removes the heavy armor of survival so you can hear my voice clearly again. You do not have to work for this provision. You do not have to earn it through striving. You simply surrender the noise for 7 minutes a day. This allows my original design to restore what was taken from your soul. I will show you exactly where to find what they built before this message closes. Stay with me as the climax approaches. The static is leaving your mind right now because my truth is establishing a new foundation inside your house. The generational patterns that bound your parents are completely losing their legal authority. The spirit of poverty is breaking into pieces. The cycle of trauma and the constant cloud of misfortune are dissolving at my command. You are the designated cycle breaker of your lineage because you carried the light into the darkest rooms of your family history. They looked at your life and they called you an oddity. They did not understand why you could not settle for a normal life of quiet desperation. But you were carrying the seed of a revolutionary breakthrough. I am bringing down the ancient walls that have kept your family from entering their true inheritance. The enemy thought he could keep you under the same ceiling of scarcity that limited the generations before you. But he did not count on the raw power of your trembling obedience. Your prayers have unlocked a major dimensional shift. I am restoring the years that the locusts have eaten from your life story. The seasons of quiet desperation did not change my ultimate blueprint for your household. You have watched others collect their harvests while you walked through a barren landscape. But your harvest is arriving with a double portion of my favor. The weapon that the enemy forged against your mind is losing its sharpness. He wanted to paralyze your spirit with a constant sense of worthlessness and regret. But I am pouring a holy oil over your thoughts to heal the scars of past trauma. You will breathe without that familiar tightness in your lungs tonight. I am clearing the path ahead of your feet so you can run without stumbling. The obstacles that looked like immovable mountains are melting like wax before my presence. You do not have to force the doors open with your own human effort anymore. My hand is turning the golden keys in the unseen realm right now. Your physical frame is receiving a fresh wave of my supernatural strength today. The exhaustion that settled into your bones is dissolving under the warmth of my embrace. You will wake up tomorrow morning with a clean vision and a singing heart. I am renewing your path, like the wings of a majestic eagle. I am releasing a swift provision over your estate that will settle your debts forever. You will no longer look at the grocery shelf with a tight knot of panic inside your stomach. The windows of heaven are swinging wide open over your career. I am bringing your name into the minds of wealthy patrons who will favor your ideas. Your relationships are being completely cleansed of the hidden vipers that drained your peace. I am exposing the fake smiles of the people who used your pure heart for their own selfish advantage. They will watch you rise into prominence, and they will realize that they lost a priceless jewel. I am shielding your heart from their envy. Every spiritual battle that you fought in silence was a legal proof that your destiny carries a royal weight. The adversary did not target your present situation because your present was comfortable. He targeted your future because your light was rising in the unseen realm. He saw the crown of victory that I prepared for your head. The wilderness that exhausted your physical body has served its holy purpose. You have been chiseled, and you have been refined inside the furnace of isolation. The version of you that is walking out of this desert is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. You walk with a heavy authority that cannot be manufactured by human hands. The waiting room is officially dissolved by my sovereign command. You have passed the test of the silent years with your integrity fully intact. The mockers who wrote you off are about to witness a display of my favor that will baffle their human logic. They will look at your restoration, and they will be forced to glorify my name. Listen to the sound of the walls crashing down in the spiritual atmosphere right now, like the ancient walls of Jericho that collapsed under the sound of a holy shout. The fortresses of delay are falling down around your life. No battering rams or human strategies are doing this work. It is my breath blowing away the obstacles. The chains are broken. The signal is clear. The breakthrough is here. You are no longer a victim of the patterns that broke your ancestors. I have authorized a complete reversal of your sorrow. The tears of the past are turning into the fuel for your sudden acceleration. Lift your eyes and look at my face right now. Lay down your heavy bags immediately. Walk forward into the light of your inheritance without hesitation. Receive the full provision that I have carefully placed on your path today. Do not look back at the dark valley one more time. The victory is officially claimed, and your sanctuary is completely secure. The old foundation has vanished entirely, and the new kingdom is standing firm. I have given you my word, and it will not return to my mouth empty. The confirmation is absolute, and the shift is permanent. Stay with me for the final movement, because your crown of restoration is waiting for you. Let me show you who you are becoming now. Picture a beautiful morning 6 months from today. You wake up before your alarm goes off. There is no tight knot in your stomach waiting for you. You lie there in the quiet room and you notice something is completely different because the old heaviness is simply gone from your chest. Your first thoughts are not driven by fear or anxiety. You look out the window at the soft morning light. You ask a quiet question about the good things I have prepared for your day. You breathe deeply. The pure breath goes all the way down into your soul because you stop performing for a broken world. That peaceful version of you is not a fantasy. That child already exists in the realm of reality. She is not years away from the person sitting here right now. The distance between the two of you is not a matter of time. It is simply a matter of permission when you let me carry what you were never meant to hold. I feel you pulling back slightly in your heart right now. A quiet voice is whispering that this good thing is meant for someone more deserving. You think you have stumbled too many times. You wonder if you can receive my full restoration because I do not give my gifts based on human merit. I give to the willing. Your presence here is the only qualification I require today. Do not disqualify yourself from the provision I am placing on your path. I have gifted humanity the wisdom to unlock what I hid within sound from the very beginning of creation. Wise minds spent decades in deep research to find the secrets of the mind. They did not know that I was quietly directing their curiosity toward my original design. I directed great researchers at Princeton University and Berkeley University. They wanted to confirm how a child receives my peace. They discovered that nearly all young children carry a creative genius because their minds run at a specific rhythm of pure receptivity. I directed Dr. Robert Lake in his clinic. He has 34 years of clinical experience in New York City. He watched the human brain react to different sounds. His long work was quietly guided toward this discovery because the human mind was built to carry a sacred gamma signal. I want to show you what I did for one of my beloved daughters before you arrived here. Rachel was a nurse in California who carried massive emotional stress. She sought my peace for many years through intense prayer. Her marriage was entirely transformed into a sanctuary after she received this sound provision. She described her life as beautiful after the blockages left her thoughts, because the channel was open, and for others, I moved differently in their circumstances. Michael was a father in Dallas who needed clarity for his household. His business grew large enough to leave his exhausting job because his brain returned to its original signal. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this help before you. They call it the Genius Song. It is a unique digital audio track delivered directly to your email. It is not a meditation app or a generic soundtrack. Those are poor imitations that carry none of the healing I designed for your life. This instrument requires only 7 minutes of complete surrender each day. You simply put your headphones on and close your eyes. You do not need any rigid discipline or long training. Your mind will easily return to the exact state of a little child because the frequency clears the static. This provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. It is explicitly for the weary warrior I have been speaking to through this message. To my child who has already tried everything, listen closely. What failed you before required your own human effort, but this requires none. I designed it to work because of my creation inside your physical brain. It does not depend on your perfect focus or spiritual strength. It is a divine rescue tool for a mind filled with modern noise. It silences the voice of the enemy, so my provisions become recognizable again. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars per hour for sessions in private clinics. The advanced equipment that researchers use costs thousands of dollars, but I do not call you to expensive sessions or heavy machinery. I designed this for the one who would receive it through a quiet message, like this video. I have placed this provision within your reach for a small earthly exchange. It is the size of a mustard seed of investment for the massive harvest I have prepared. I am also enclosing 4 additional gifts to bless your house. You will receive the Genius Child track and a sacred text on true prosperity. You will also receive a guided visualization track from a trusted voice. And you will get a daily habits document to sustain the restored signal in your home. Where I send truth, the adversary always places imitation. There are false tracks circulating under similar names on streaming platforms because they carry none of the restoration. Protect your spirit by trusting only the official path provided below. Find the verified source in the pinned comment or in the description. You walk forward without any worldly risk because your peace is fully protected for 60 days. If the restoration does not come to your house, every earthly penny is returned to you completely. This is my promise of safety over your act of faith. Take this step of obedience today. Receive the provision I have placed in the pinned comment and in the description below. This is your personal invitation from my throne. Walk forward with me into the light because I have prepared your way. Now, my beloved child, set aside the noise of decision for a moment. I have shown you the instrument I placed on your path. Whether you take this step now or later, you are still my chosen masterpiece. Close your eyes for a second and breathe in my presence, because there is a final blessing I want to leave with your soul. You are a vessel fully restored to receive what I prepared from the beginning. The noise of the enemy no longer has any dominion over your heavy mind. You carry the pure frequency of divine receptivity, and your channel is entirely clear. You have become like a little child, and you are receiving the promises made to children. The tight knot in your lungs is dissolving under the warmth of my embrace. You are no longer the one who must survive alone in the dark wilderness. I am raising you up to be a beacon of light for your entire family line. You will walk out of the ancient patterns of lack, and you will see my goodness in the land of the living. If this message has brought light to your weary heart, do not let it pass without a response. Choose trust over fear in this very hour. Like this video right now, as an act of holy agreement between your soul and my voice. Share these words with 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope today, so they can find their refuge. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to stay connected to my daily guidance. I will lead your steps one day at a time, and I will not confuse your path. Go forward with a light heart, because the confirmation is absolute. I walk beside you through every season, and my love will never fail your house.